Hey, welcome to my blog once again. This is a segment we're going to say, Did you know? And try to answer that aspect of something that we are encountering on a daily basis, but we don't really get to grasp the meaning of that. If you're new here, please subscribe, follow, and subscribe. You can share, and you can also put your kind comments into the description. Most of all, today, did you know the Maasai Shuka, which I'm wearing right now, has so much so become a cultural icon in this part of the world because it's adorned by the Maasai tribe of Kenya and Tanzania. Maasai are people who speak the Maa language, and mostly they are found in the savannas of East Africa. This shuka, the red in some parts of the Masai land, and in some parts of the Masai land is also dressed. They also dressed in the blue version of this. This is a red version of it. You can see it's almost tartanish. That explains now. Did you know that it is actually a Scottish kilt design? Yeah. The Maasai Shuka was introduced to the Maa Speakers by one explorer called Thompson. All right? Joseph Thompson. I was trying to get his first name. Joseph Thompson. Joseph Thompson is a Scottish explorer. I mean, who was born around 1858. He died in 1895 in London. He was a naturalist, a geologist, and an explorer. So he happened to come around the part of East Africa in the early 18th century. Um, a lot of things that came with him are now proper landmarks in this country. We have the Thompson Falls in Thika. They are named after him. We have got a specific species of gazelle. It's called the Thompson gazelle. It was named after him. Also, in my community, the first white man ever take a photograph or to be taken photograph with the chief then called Nabongo Mumia was Joseph Thompson in 1883 during the Wanga Kingdom. So this, I think, because at that particular time, the Maasais seemed like they were very hostile to the white people. So they had to come with gifts here and there. There is a story that has been told about one of their chief. The chief in Masai language is called Laibon. So one Laibon called Olonana resisted was part of that resistance. There's so much history about him. My country, Kenya, has got so much of Masai touch. Just apart from the cultural icon of the Masai Shuka, we also are blessed with so many things, including the name Kenya itself. There's probably an origin of it being used by the Maasais. Nairobi, our capital city, means a place of cool waters in Masai. And so many other towns in this country have the speck of the Maasai influence and the Maasai language. Even the Bantus, the two popular tribes in this country, that is the Luyas and the Kikuyus, have got a lot of influence with the Maasais. In fact, they did a lot of intermarrying. There are some clans in Luya that are guided or belonged to the Maasais. There's even the one of the clan called the Bagisu, who are now originally Maasais, in Kishu. The Inkishu clan of the Maa community is the appendage of the Bagisu clan and so many other clans. And I think I'll be mentioning them in my channel later on. The Kikuyus, I think it's credited for places like Kiambu, Nyeri, who are not originally Kikuyu lands were occupied by the Maasais, where they got, the expansion of the Maasais. Because the Maasais mostly in those during the earlier days were nomads, and they had a lot of cattle. And because they had a lot of cattle, they were looking for pastures. And mostly the Bantus, because they were cultivators, the Luyas and the Maasai, the Luyas and the Kikuyus, they would do a lot of nice farming, grasslands, and all that. So the Maasais would eventually and occasionally clash with them, looking for the pastures of their animal. And that's how there's a lot of intermarriages and a lot of intercultural linkages between the Maasais and the Luyas and the Kikuyus of this world. It's even rumored that our first president has the blood of Kikuyus. In fact, his name, which is a nickname, because he was called Johnson Muigai Gengi, is nicknamed Kenyatta, which means that Masai belt that has got a lot of beads. I think in the Kikuyu language. So he used to like wearing that belt that had those beards originally from the Maasais, and that's why he was nicknamed Kenyatta, and the nickname eventually stuck to him, and he became our first president using that name as Kenyatta, Jomo Kenyatta. Well, at least now you know something. Something else about that blanket, because when the Scottish explorers were passing through, it was initially like a blanket, and it was given not only to the chiefs but also to a lot of people who are stationed there. I'm reading here that it is originally a Scottish kilt, particularly the Great Kilt, Felie de Mur. What? That must be a Scottish Scottish something. If you can pronounce it properly like a Scotsman, not like a Kenyan like me, please do so. John Thompson was born in Penpont, Dumfries, in Scotland, as I said earlier on, in 1858, and he died in London in 1895. Right now, the Masai Shuka has got a lot of debates in the country of whether we nationalize it as our national dress, but mostly in our cultural iconic artifacts and the gestures and symbols, has got a lot of the Maasai's in their Shuka, and a spear or a stick for heading the cattle, as part of our global icon that identifies Kenya. When you say Kenya to some people, they would identify so very well with the Maasai Shuka and the stick or the spear. This one that I'm wearing. So yeah. Nowadays, of course, after the Scottish left, they couldn't get the garments from Scotland, definitely. But nowadays, there is a lot of that is being manufactured in places like Dar es Salaam, in places in Kenya like Nairobi, and Mombasa, and of late, mostly from China. But we are proud of that heritage. We are proud of that fact that the Maasais, who mean a lot to this country, have managed to export our cultural fad to the world using the Masai Shuka. There's a lot of dresses that have come up, just trying to depict the same cultural the symbol of the cultural icon, including biggest designers in the world. The Masai Shuka has evolved. It has become urbanized, more urbanized. There are very many versions of the Masai Shuka, other than the ones that are just traditionally being worn by the Maasais or the Maa speakers of East Africa, the savannas and the grasslands that are scattered in parts of Kenya and parts of Tanzania. Well, that forms my did you know. If there's anything more that you can add towards that, you're welcome. Please do so, comment, add, just appreciate and share it, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much. See you in the next Did You Know segment. Thank you.